Are you ready to leave, Hunter? All right. Time is our enemy here as much as Gore Magala. Let's hurry to the rendezvous point. Look alive, men! Report!
Sir! We have yet to sight the target. But something is definitely here.
Form up!
Sorry, sir!
Spread this far. Follow it. You two are their shield. Go!
You've always protected us! Now, it's our turn! Now go!
Rex, come!
Hurry!
Hang in there! That's an order! You! There's no escape!
disappointing. We'll just have to tough it out.
Rex, Cobb, you had better be all right.
A frenzied monster. Be careful. It'll be more aggressive than normal.
This must be its nest. Stay sharp. From here on out, it's do or die. Admirably done. That should put a halt to the virus's spread.
You'll be able to compound the medicine here?
Yes. What I lack in facilities here is made up for by an excellent assistant. We'll see it done. Good. We'll continue to monitor him, but his condition has stabilized. A success, despite the circumstances. You did well with such limited resources, Eric.
I couldn't have done it without that tissue sample. Not to mention your thesis, sir. I just hope the Dragon Torch responds to it as well as our fuzzy friend.
The Avis unit should be delivering it now. We'll just have to put our faith in Werner and wait.
Amazing. Even I can see the change. Is it taking effect already?
Yes, but as much as I'd like to take the credit, the wyvern milk is what's working most of the magic. If not for it amplifying the effects of the treatment, you'd never see it recover this fast.
That said, another Gormagala could turn up at some point. Are you worried it might happen again?
It's a fair point, but I'm not too concerned. Especially if this thing has organic properties. I'd like to pick Eric's brain about this, but there's a chance it's developed antibodies now. And if the wyvern milk magnifies that resistance too, it'd take a hell of a lot to break through it.
I'm not ready to be quite that optimistic. This thing is still a big unknown, and a threat. Regardless, Werner, continue your research here. I'll be monitoring the area closely as well.
Understood. We'll head outside then. The cycles should return to normal in each region, but I'd like to keep monitoring them. Not to mention wanting to speak with you. I believe it's about Arkfeld.
All right then. Sure, what have you got? Well, yeah. Can't do much if I'm laid out flat. A giant vigor wasp? All right, I'll go catch you one.
Perfect! There's a matter I'm eager to ask your opinion on.
Go right ahead.
I am told many mysteries still remain about the ecology of the Guardians. For instance, do you think tempered Guardians could ever exist? Or a tempered Shewu?
Their desire to survive is no less fierce than for other monsters. I wouldn't be surprised. Especially with their dynamic of eat or be eaten. Why? Have you seen something lately?
No, it was really just a momentary glimpse. Nothing certain. But it felt unlike other Shewu.
I've learned it's often better to listen to my gut. If it turns out you're wrong, no harm done. I'll have the guild look into it and deal with it if needed.
Thank you. That would be a big relief. Sorry to trouble you.
Oh, it's you. Sorry, but could I get some help?
Is something bothering you?
There's word of troubling monsters in the oil well basin. 2 of them. We can't get to the mine. They tried looking for ways around them or other spots to dig, but it sounds like they had no luck. We've been making do with the materials we had on hand, but our stores are starting to run out. I'm worried some of the village hotheads will do something stupid. Crafting may be our life. But you need a life to craft. I'm not allowing any reckless planning. Help me stop them?
Of course. I'm happy to help you persuade them. I'd like to know how they are troubling, though. If a native familiar with the local monsters says they're unusually tough, they could be aberrants. If so, closing off the mines won't be enough. We'll deal with it before anyone gets hurt.
You don't mind? I mean, that would be a huge help if it really isn't any trouble.
Your listenings are much required. Do you know of the botherous creature in these trees? white of fur, and red of flower. Draw too near and suffer a mighty betingling. Big, dangerous.
From that description, you mean a Lalabarina.
When pink and red clash, the fur pays damagings most dislike-worthy.
So the Lalabarina is giving you trouble because it's damaging Congalala pelts?
Pink fur is the biggest of splenditude. Many scarrings are not. But pink and red are most odd. Ferociousness is much different.
Wait, both of them are aberrant cases? Though it's hard to know anything for sure just yet. Fur aside for the moment, that's a concerning bit of news. If they pose a danger, we'll handle it.
Well said. I will give to your hands. Wins will be met with rewardings.
Excuse me, I had a question, if I might.
Of course.
Is it normal for monsters to fight with each other for days on end?
Well, it's not uncommon for monsters to engage in territorial struggles. But fights stretching over multiple days are rare. Where were they?
The land of blessed winds. The Vanguard have seen them at it every time they go to quarry Gem Chimestone. The monsters seem too focused on each other to pay the Vanguard much mind, but I still worry.
You're right to. It may just be good luck that's kept them from being attacked so far. I'm not keen to wait until that luck runs out. We'll investigate those monsters on our end.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you... I'm sure you'll be fine, but do be careful.
Thank you for coming. I'm grateful. The egg we found, the one we thought might be from Arkfeld, looks like we were right. I went around talking to people to gather what info I could. scraps from its feeding, bits of eggshell. There's still not very much to go on, but it found a way to live. These creatures, their will to survive. Amazing.
Yeah, especially if it found a way to overcome its nature as a guardian. So, what's troubling you?
Well, people at other base camps were saying the state it's leaving its prey in isn't normal. And Uthduna and New Udra both showed signs of being attacked. And what was left was awful.
I wonder if that means it's unable to control its appetite. Like the one we saw at the Dragon Torch.
I don't know. That's why I asked for Eric's help. I thought we should hear what he has to say together.
How interesting. I had heard talk of that egg as well, so I'm just as excited as you. But this isn't all good news. The fact that it's run roughshod over 2 apex predators troubles me as well.
This sort of sounds like the frenzy to me. Eric, what do you think?
Too difficult to say, but in Arkveld's case specifically, it may not be due to infection. For instance, Nata, are you familiar with the concept of bioconcentration?
No, I'm not.
Right, then I'll explain. This is still just a theory, but it's been on my mind as of late. The frenzy caused an uncontrolled spike in the Dragon Torch's energy output before, right? But it may have been more than just bad weather that caused those apex predators to rampage. Our analysis showed that the virus caused a subtle mutation in the energy the Dragon Torch produced. That means the Wyvern milk itself may have come to contain tiny traces of the virus's characteristics.
I'm starting to see where this is heading. Then the mutated energy started flowing out.
Exactly. It gradually tainted the water supply, animals, plants, insects, and onto monsters. If it traveled up the food chain, growing more concentrated at every step, its eventual destination would be the dominant predator of each region. That may be why that Uthduna and other monsters exhibited such aggression. A sort of pseudo-frenzy.
And then, at the very end of the chain, Arkveld comes and siphons those monsters' energy.
And in so doing, it may be assimilating their traits, essentially distilling the frenzy virus.
And after it finally found the strength to live again. Poor thing.
But from the reports we've heard, it sounds as if we're only dealing with one affected individual.
I believe so. And there's been no reports of Rey Dao being attacked yet. This is our chance.
Hey, we should talk to Nata before heading out.
I was planning to.
You're going, aren't you? To the Wind's Gasp, to Rey Dao.
Yes, there's a good chance Arkveld will turn up there.
Could I? I'd like to come with you, please.
You heard Eric's theory. You know it's too dangerous, Nata.
I'm still just an apprentice hunter. I know. I can't do anything yet. But I'm also a keeper. So, please, it found its way to life. Let me at least watch over it. And over you.
The answer is no. I don't need someone who's just going to watch. But, given how far you've come, I feel you're capable now of more than that. Don't be a passive observer. Use your head and think for yourself. Promise you'll do that, and you can come.
I will. I promise. Thank you. Okay. I'm ready to leave anytime. Right. Let's go.
I'm glad you could join us, Nata.
So am I.
Have you been looking into the Arkveld this whole time? Ever since that egg?
I asked around while we were traveling, or while I was helping out at base camp. Whenever you were out in the field, I was trying to piece things together on my own. Sorry.
Don't be. I understand the feeling well. Whatever the undertaking, it all starts from curiosity.
I'm certainly the same way. And this investigation all started from the data you collected, Nata. Quite the achievement.
She's right. It's impressive.
Oh, if you say so. Thanks. Did Arkveld do this too?
Not sure, but it doesn't show any signs of being fed on. That rules out Ray Dow.
This looks like the result of one single devastating blow. Let's proceed with caution. The weather's picking up. We should hurry.
Right. The sand tide is gonna put Ray Dow in an agitated state. If it's gonna strike, it'll strike then. Doesn't look like it was dinner either. More like the result of an uncontrollable impulse.
Ray Dow sighted.
This feeling, it's like back then.
Yeah.
It's true.
Reversion to the origin species.
It really did find a way to live.
Eric's worst fears were right.
its own sake. We can't leave it like this. The path we must take is clear. Nata.
You're sure?
If I were a hunter, it's what I would do.
All right.
Alma? Right! The target is an aberrant arcbound. The guild authorizes the hunt.
Understood. Well then, let's get to it.
glad you're safe. It really did seem as fierce as a frenzied monster.
No question. I'm also sure its ability to absorb elements is what let it shed its guardian nature. It's a shame that unique strength became its fatal weakness.
A harsh irony. Well, we should be going. Nanta's waiting for us.
Right.